What if I told you that the more you try to hold on to someone, the more you lose yourself in the process? Not because you care too much, but because you've forgotten where you end and where they begin. We live in a world where attention feels like proof and distance feels like rejection. A world where a delayed reply, a short message, or silence can shift your entire mood. But here's the truth. They are not controlling your peace. Your interpretation is. Stoicism teaches you as something powerful. Your stability should never be in someone else's hands. And today, we're going to explore how to build that kind of inner strength, not by pushing people away, but by standing firmly within yourself, so you can love without losing control, detaching without losing care. Detachment sounds harsh, like you have to stop caring. But that's not what this is. This isn't about becoming cold. It's about becoming clear. Clear about what you control and what you don't. You can care about someone, master your attention. Here's something most people miss. It's not that you care too much. It's that your attention has no filter. You give it away freely. To every message, every delay, every small shift in behavior. And before you know it, your entire day is shaped by someone else's actions. But Stoicism teaches, your attention is one of your most valuable resources. Where it goes, your energy follows. So if you're constantly watching someone, waiting on them, thinking about them, you're not just losing time, you're losing control. So here's the shift. Start asking yourself, is this worth my attention? Not every text deserves analysis. Not every action deserves a reaction. Discipline your focus, and you'll notice something powerful. The less you watch them, the more you return to yourself. Stop romanticizing the bare minimum. This one is subtle, but it changes everything. When you're emotionally invested, you start overvaluing small things. The simple text becomes effort. A little attention becomes care. But let's be honest, the bare minimum is not something to celebrate. Stoicism is rooted in clarity. See things as they are, not as you wish them to be. When someone shows you inconsistency, believe it. When their actions don't match their words, notice it. Without excuses, without over-interpreting. Because the moment you start romanticizing less than you deserve, you lower your standard without even realizing it. And standards shape your entire life. So raise them quietly and let your actions reflect it. Be okay with being misunderstood. Not everyone will get you. Not everyone will see your value or your intentions. And sometimes, people will misread your distance as coldness, your silence as disinterest, your boundaries as attitude. But here's the truth. You don't need to explain yourself to be valid. Without needing them to act a certain way, you can value a connection without depending on it for your peace. The Stoics believed love should be a choice, not a condition for your stability. So when you feel yourself clinging, pause and ask, am I appreciating them? Or am I needing them to complete me? That question changes everything. Because when you stop chasing reassurance, you start building self-trust. And that is far more powerful. Stop interpreting everything. One of the biggest sources of suffering is not what people do. It's what you think it means. A short text becomes, they're losing interest. No response becomes, they don't care. Distance becomes, something is wrong. But most of the time, these are stories, not facts. Stoicism reminds us, you don't see reality. You see your judgment of it. So here's a practice. When you feel that spiral starting, stop and ask, what do I actually know? Without assuming, you'll realize how much energy you waste trying to solve problems that don't even exist. And in that moment, you take your power back. Let people be who they are. This part is hard. You want people to show up a certain way, to text back faster, to care more, to understand you better. But here's the reality. People are who they are. And the more you try to change them, the more you frustrate yourself. Stoicism teaches acceptance, not passivity, but clarity. You see them for who they are, not who you wish they were. And then you decide, does this align with me or not? No drama, no forcing, just truth. Because peace doesn't come from changing people. It comes from choosing correctly. Reclaim your focus. When you're constantly thinking about someone, you lose focus on your own life, your goals, your growth, your direction. And without realizing it, You start living reactively. Waiting, checking, overthinking. But your life is bigger than that. Stoicism calls you back. To yourself. To your purpose. To your actions. To your daily discipline. Because the more you build your own life, the less you need someone else to fill the gaps. And ironically, that's what makes you more attractive. Not the chasing, not the overgiving, but the focus, the direction, the self-respect. Give without expectation. One of the quiet traps in relationships is expectation. I did this, so they should do that. I showed up, so they should too. But life doesn't work like that, and neither do people. Stoicism teaches, do what's right, without attaching to the outcome. Love without keeping score. Give because it reflects your character, not because you expect something back. And if they don't match your energy, that's information, not a reason to lose yourself, because your actions define you. Their actions reveal them, and that distinction matters. Find peace in your own presence. At the end of the day, the relationship you have with yourself sets the standard for everything else. If you're uncomfortable alone, you'll seek distraction in others. If you doubt yourself, you'll seek validation from others. But when you're grounded, when you enjoy your own company, when you trust yourself, everything changes. You stop settling. You stop overthinking. You stop chasing. Not because you don't care, but because you're already whole. And that is the Stoic advantage. Closing. So if you want them to miss you, don't try to force it. Don't play games. Don't overextend yourself. Instead, focus on becoming calm, clear, and self-sufficient. Build a life that doesn't revolve around anyone, and watch what happens. You won't just be missed, you'll be respected. And more importantly, you'll respect yourself. Stay grounded, stay disciplined, and remember, the moment you stop needing is the moment you start attracting. If this video gave you something to reflect on, like it, share it, and subscribe for more.